41-year-old man with typical measles. Definition: measles is a highly contagious viral disease that can be fatal. In most people, the disease produces fever, temperature between 101 or 38.3 centimeters, a generalized rash that lasts greater than 3 days, cough, runny nose, coryza, and red eyes conjunctivitis. An altered expression of measles AMS begins suddenly with high fever, headache, cough, and abdominal pain. The rash may appear 1 to 2 days later, often beginning on the limbs. Swelling, edema of the hands and feet may occur.
Recently, there's been a lot of talk about measles. What does measles actually do, and should you vaccinate against it, or is this just hysteria? Measles is a virus, a hull of proteins, RNA, plus some more proteins for reproduction. It cannot reproduce by itself, it needs a host cell to do so. To understand measles, we have to understand the immune system. You might already have seen the visual system we developed to help here. Now, let's focus on the parts of the immune system relevant to measles. The measles virus enters humans through the nose, mouth, or eyes. The measles infection starts in the lungs. Measles is especially good at infecting the body's first line of defense, macrophages, powerful guard cells that protect the lungs from intruders. They enter a cell and take it over. The virus reprograms the cell and transforms it into a dangerous virus production center. Once a cell is filled with viruses, they leave the crippled cell and begin the cycle over again. But the immune system has powerful weapons against virus infections, natural killer cells. These cells basically patrol the body and check other cells for infections. If they find an infected cell, they order it to commit suicide. This is so effective that for the first 10 days or so, you will not even notice that you're infected with measles. And now, the reason why measles is so powerful. After a period of fighting and dying, macrophages alert the brain of the immune system, the dendritic cells. The job of the dendritic cells is to collect samples of intruders, travel to the lymph nodes, and then activate the heavy weapons that eradicate the infection very fast in a team effort. But the measles virus uses a dreadful tactic. It infects the dendritic cells and uses them as a Trojan horse to enter deeper into the body. The infected cells travel to the next lymph node to alert other immune cells. Once it arrives, the measles virus spreads around the virgin T and B cells and infects them. It attacks the very system that evolved to fight it. Now, things happen very fast. The lymph system spreads the virus everywhere and it enters the bloodstream, infecting cells while traveling. Measles infects organs like the spleen, the liver, the intestines, and most importantly, the lungs. The symptoms range from a very high fever, headache, sickness, bronchitis, and of course, a rash. In the lungs, the immune system was doing pretty okay, but now millions of viruses attack a second time and kill countless cells, wiping out the defense systems. In this phase, you start coughing out millions of measles viruses. Measles is so contagious at this stage that if you meet someone who isn't vaccinated, there's about a 90% chance you'll infect them. Without the protective army in the lungs, other bacteria or viruses that would usually not stand a chance can now enter the lungs and develop into harmful parallel infections that can cause pneumonia, the most common way to die from measles. Your body's immune system is now seriously wounded. Various protective systems are hurt and disrupted. The virus spreads everywhere, infecting the skin all over the body. The typical measles rash now becomes visible. And in some cases, the measles virus.
Application in medicine. A 41-year-old man was admitted to this hospital in midsummer because of fever, rash, pancytopenia, and abnormal results of liver function test. The patient had been well until 6 days before admission, when fever with a peak temperature of 38.3 centigrades, fatigue, headache, and mild sore throat developed. He also had atopic dermatitis, which has been treated intermittently with topical glucocorticoids. Through differentially diagnosed, the doctors came with a conclusion of atypical measles and the cause of all the signs and symptoms.
What I want to talk about in this video is a cornerstone in every field of medicine, and that's the differential diagnosis. Depending on how you were exposed to the differential diagnosis, you might think it's the worst thing in the world, but it's actually a critically important skill. First things first, let's talk about why the differential diagnosis is important. Essentially, it's because making the correct diagnosis is difficult. The rate of misdiagnosis in medicine ranges between 5 to 15%, depending on the field. So think about that for a second. Up to 1 in 5 diagnoses are incorrect. 1 in 5.
AMS, atypical measles syndrome, an altered expression of measles. AMS begins suddenly with high fever, headache, cough, and abdominal pain. The rash may appear 1 to 2 days later, often beginning on the limbs. Sweat edema of the hands and feet may occur. Pneumonia is common and may persist for 3 months or more. AMS occurs in persons who were incompletely immunized against measles. This may happen if a person were given the old killed virus measles vaccine, which does not provide complete immunity and is no longer available, or the person were given attenuated weakened live measles vaccine that was, by accident, inactivated during improper storage. Immunization with an activated measles virus does not prevent measles virus infection. It can, however, sensitize a person so that the expression of the disease is altered.
The pros. Doctors did exhaustive work finding the cause of the illness. The patient got a great recovery. The doctors also did a control on the pregnant wife and the patient in case the baby suffered any damage because of the virus. The cons. The patient went to the hospital 2 times before they took it like something serious. The patient got into EHR hospital by emergency. Took a lot of time to the doctor find out what was causing the illness. Issue applied in Ecuador. The last outbreak in Ecuador was in 2011. We registered about 200 cases, being the most of them kids of 5 years old and below. It was eradicated after the government invested in vaccines against the virus. The conclusion. The measles is an illness that can be controlled and cured with an appropriate treatment at the right time.
We gotta stop this before it gets out of hand. Vaccination in demand. Team Measles, we got a plan. Treat this rap like C-SPAN. The disease will cease if at least the majority's informed of these things, such as measles claims the lives of 2.6 million a year globally. It's a third world problem, well, we thought hopefully, but let's remember 117 cases in Cali this past December. Disneyland was the breeding ground. The source could be the Philippines, but was never found. The symptoms abound as 3 C's: cough, coryza, and conjunctivitis. Because it's airborne, to catch it's easy. For everyone who contracts 18 will be infected, so please detect it when the symptoms start. Like a rash with slowly growing bump marks, spark the spreading before brain damage. Inoculation's your only advantage. Will it vanish? We'll see. History cites outbreaks back to 900 CE. The disease is believed to have formed from humans and cattle in close proximity. The answer is in the vaccine's creation in 1954. John Enders and Thomas Peebler named Edmonston B strain is the reason for hope. When told to get shots, why do many parents say no? Anti-vaxxers resist the government with little grounds for hesitation other than speculation of CDC regulation. But research shows this nation 99% of recipients who receive the vaccine are now relaxing. If you don't think it's what a human needs, you probably benefit from herd immunity. Cause I'm not viral viral. You think you're good, but I got my shot to you don't. You could get sick if enough think like you. All you need is 2 doses. Don't abuse freedom for recklessness. Get your updated vaccine checklist assessments in. We're not messing with you. If for any reason you do contract it, here's the tactic to counteract it. Get vaccinated and stay home with good nutrition and fluids flown. It'll usually take 10 to 12 days, so if you want to keep it contained, please behave. Get your shots. Make sure